Hi, I'm Colin and welcome to How to Paint Watercolours. So if you're ready, we'll get started and we'll paint this one. Hello everybody and welcome to How to Paint Watercolours with me, Colin. I've chosen a Seascape for this one and I've just stretched the paper. This is a £140 Saunders Waterford and I'm just leaving a thin film on. Remove the excess from around the edges, and I think for this one we'll build the sky up in a couple of stages with some Naples yellow all the way along the bottom. I've got the board laying flat at the moment. Into that this is some cadmium yellow light. Too much, just streak it in. Bring some into the cliffs. This helps to unify it all. Some cadmium orange with a touch of cadmium yellow light. French ultramarine this one, and Prussian blue. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger than we need it because we'll be coming over the top of this. Bring some around here. Always remember this will dry lighter. Pull some over the top here. A touch darker here. Don't be frightened of using a good strength of colour. It all helps to add to the depth of your painting. We'll just bring some of the colour into the sea because it's a sunset. Some orange, cadmium orange once again. Streak some cadmium orange in here. I think we'll even add some into the cliffs, why not? And now we're going to leave all this to dry. Okay, now that the paint has dried on this and the paper's dried out quite a bit, I've just clipped it down to stop it shrinking too far. Then with some clean water, this is on a 2-inch flat brush, to re-wet the sky area once again all the way across, using as few strokes as you possibly can. And the reason why I'm doing this is that I want the next layer of paint to lie on top of the paint that we've already put down. Just check that we've got it all wet. This is cadmium red and cadmium yellow light, and we're just going to drop this in. We're going to create some nice shapes. The board is still laying flat at the moment. Now this is so fun to do. And I want to leave this area blue as we begin to darken it all. This is Prussian blue, French ultramarine, plus alizarin crimson, and just a touch of burnt umber. I'm just going to drop this in. You can really have fun with this one, and as it will spread, we will allow some room for it to do this. Bring it along the top to darken the tops to bring your eye into the painting. Allow it to thin out as it comes off the brush, allowing some of the red to show through, just framing this patch of blue here. Allowing it all to merge together. Just a bit of colour down here. Soften off the bottoms of these. And we move into an even stronger colour. This has slightly more blue in it. I want this to drift down as well. So this is Prussian blue, French ultramarine and alizarin crimson with burnt umber, but this is on the blue side. Don't put it everywhere. Just allow it to darken the corners up and drift down, just creating some clouds. Don't forget we can always remove some if you want to leave some of the underwash showing through. This will all help to soften it, but try not to overwork it. Just taking the tops off and removing some paint with a kitchen towel, just to help to create a little more interest. Just pulling it into the cliffs, adding a little bit more blue. So the top part of this sky. I want to leave all this to soften and dry off. Okay, it's now that your sky's dry, we'll come to the sets of cliffs here, and I'm just running some clean water into the far set of cliffs. Each one of these will have to be allowed to dry. This is a light colour of the cadmium orange and cadmium yellow light. I'm just going to paint this in here. And the moment I've got that in, I'm going to take some of the sky colour or your cloud colour. You don't want this to be too strong, so I'm just going to drop that in. Then with the damp brush, I'm just going to work it down. This is that mixture of Prussian blue and French ultramarine with alizarin crimson and a touch of burnt umber. Make it darker along the bottom. Then allow that one to dry. Now that the first far cliff is dry, we can come into the second one. I'm just going to re-wet this as well, dropping some of the cadmium orange in places. The cadmium orange and the cadmium red, work these two together. And into that once again, some of your cloud colour, stronger this time. This is a French ultramarine Prussian blue, alizarin crimson with just a touch of burnt umber. Pull it down in the shape that you want your cliffs to be. You shape them with your brush strokes. Softening this edge where it runs into the next set of cliffs. And with this one, I just want to take a damp brush, which is a fully charged brush full of water, run it through a kitchen towel. And we'll just take the edge off, allowing some of the underwash to show through. Not too much, just enough to show a variation. Just remove some of the paint. This is where the light would catch the front of the cliffs. And then we're going to allow that to dry. As we come to this one here, I'm just going to take some of the cadmium yellow light and I'm just going to bring it down the front of this cliff. Some of the cadmium orange, some of the cadmium orange and red, cadmium red, bring that in. Just a little of the cloud colour. Pull it all together. And we will be glazing over the top of this and lifting paint out to allow some of this paint underwash to show through. So now we have to let this dry. Now that your foreground cliffs are dry, I'm just taking some of your cloud colour once again, which is the French ultramarine, Prussian blue, alizarin crimson with a touch of burnt umber, and paint the whole of your cliff area in with this colour. We will be lifting some paint out once again, and then with some Prussian blue, French ultramarine and burnt umber, just drop this in as well. Not everywhere, just allow it, don't come to the front of the cliff edge because we'll be lifting the paint out there, but we do want some variation in this colour. Mop up any excess off the bottom as it runs down. Taking your damp brush, just where you think the light would catch, just begin to remove some paint, allowing the underwash to show through, which is the yellow on the front. just create some interesting shapes in it. You could scrape these out with a card or a penknife, but I'm looking for soft edges more than hard edges on these, as this is an evening sky. This will help to create some lights and some shadows. If you see my brush disappear, I'm just dipping it in water and then wiping it on a kitchen towel so that the brush is thirsty. And now we're going to leave that to dry. Now that all your cliffs are dry, I'm just going to take some of the sky colour of the blue, which is the Prussian blue and French ultramarine, and we're just going to scrumble where the surf is and pull it back. Just roll the brush round, allowing some of the paper to show through. Just keep remembering to pull it back. And these are horizontal strokes when you pull it back. Same here. And some sky colour at the back. And I've thinned this out with some water. Water on the brush first, tiny drop of paint. And this is transparent and will allow the yellow to show through. This is the cadmium orange. It's just a touch of cadmium red. Some of your sky colour in, or your cloud colour, French ultramarine, Prussian blue, alizarin crimson, with just a touch of burnt umber. Clean water, wet this area, just adding strokes of colour. This is the cadmium orange with some cad yellow light, and I also want to bring in some of the blue from the sky at this point. It doesn't really matter about it hitting the orange because this will just grey it. Cloud colour in. Re-wetting the beach area. There's just a little bit of beach. Just some of the cadmium orange. Touch some of the sky colour in, and then also on the top of that some of the cloud colour. And now we need to let this just dry off slightly, as it's a little bit too wet. I think you can still see the shine on this, and then we're going to, once the shine's gone off, we'll add some streaks of colour in. Now that this has dried off a little bit with a flat brush, we're just going to add some movement into the sea. So once again with your cloud colour, which is the French ultramarine, Prussian blue, alizarin crimson with just a touch of burnt umber. Just add slight movement into these waves. Soften off some of the edges with a damp brush. Just drop some blue in here. Just little touches. Then with some French ultramarine, Prussian blue and burnt umber, just darken one or two of these ripples. Use the same mixture on the dark sand. the same dark mixture, we can just add a couple of seagulls. Now we need this to dry. Okay, once you've got it dry, I'm just taking a craft knife blade, and right on the top where the dark waves are, I'm just going to scratch in a few little white marks just to indicate some sparkle on the water. And I think I'm going to let that go at that. Now comes the best part. You get to sign it, mount it and frame it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please click the like button, and please subscribe. All subscribers are welcome. And if you would like to have a look at some other painting videos I have made, I will leave a link in the description box and it will take you straight to them. So once again, thank you very much for watching.